Zowie here, long-time FPS player and reviewed over 50 mice. I found that there's no such thing as a perfect mouse, and everyone is different, but there are certain rules that seem to apply to most people. A responsive sensor that tracks really well, buttons that are light to press in but don't lead to accidental clicks, low weight, and a safe, basic shape that will suit most grip styles. And this is why the new Logitech mice are so highly anticipated. There might not be such a thing as perfect, but Logitech sure are getting close. These are the Logitech G403 Prodigy, both wired and wireless versions. Standard packaging, simple boxes, and again, Logitech is the best when it comes to cables in the box. Instead of folding them, they wrap them around nicely, which means no kinks. Inside the wireless version, we have the adapter, cable, and the extra weight. Inside the wired version, only the extra weight. It's an ergonomic design, 3366 optical sensor, with light buttons, and the mice are fairly lightweight too. Those are the four main points that I'll go through in this review. What you class as important will depend on the games you play. Starting with the weight of each, the wired version is about 88 grams without the bottom cover in, and 90 grams with it. But for balance, it's probably best to keep it in. The wireless version is about 106 grams, or 104 grams without the cover. The extra weight is 10 grams, so 100 grams for the wired version, or 116 for the wireless. It actually feels like they've balanced the weight more toward the front, so that a back weight can be used without unbalancing the mouse. I don't know how much that will affect people, but it felt fine for me. For shape, here's a quick tour of the mouse so you know what it looks like. Buttons on the left, with a thumb groove, and a slight ledge to assist with picking it up. Rounded back, and no buttons on the right. There is a slight ledge on this side too, but I would prefer it to be more pronounced with a thinner base. Some very nice comfort grooves in the buttons, but one thing I'm not too fond of is this little tapered edge here, on the base. I prefer mice that are straight down, so I can have my fingers on the mouse and the pad. That's just personal preference though, it's still good. You'll note that the button slope is gradual. The hump seems closer to the middle, which makes it suitable to all grip styles, although may not be perfect for any. The measurements are about 6 cm at the fingers, and the base length is about 10.2 cm, while the actual length is more like 12. So technically, it's close to the 2:1 ratio, but the base length is a bit off, and the height is the usual 4 cm. I just keep wishing this mouse was thinner. A safe shape is one that allows for multiple grip styles, one that doesn't dictate exactly where you put your fingers. This is a safe shape, and overall, I think it's a good design, but it might take some getting used to. It's quite comfortable after some use, but I have a feeling the design could be refined further to be even better for aiming. Now, the hand size guides are mostly for first-person shooter players. You'll need to know length and width and grip style. Hands and mice are usually twice as long as they are wide, if you measure your hand as shown in the pictures. So that's the 2:1 ratio. The size guide you see on screen now is a rough estimate, based on what I think the mouse would suit for all three grip styles. Try to aim as close to the green and yellow as possible. The red area can still work, but it's not ideal. I think this mouse can work for all grip styles, palm, claw and fingertip. It just depends on your hand size. If your hand is wider, and not exactly the 2:1 ratio, find the length and the width on the chart, then choose the one that's in between them. For example, if your hand is 18 cm long and 10 cm wide, choose something that will fit 19 cm hands. It's rough, so you have some freedom with it. Here are some size comparisons. Next to the Zowie EC1-A red logo, DeathAdder, EC2-A white logo, and the Logitech Pro. Some have suggested it's a replacement for the EC2-A, but it's closer to the dimensions of the EC1-A. And I have to say, both feel great, with minor differences. Moving on to the buttons, here is a listen to the clicks. They say that they're using an advanced button tensioning system, durable for 20 million clicks. Ignoring the marketing, the buttons are really good on the Logitech G Pro, but I felt they had a bit of a snap to them. These are very similar, but they don't have that snap, so in my view, these are better. Then again, that might just depend on the copies I got. Either way, they're very good, and they're separate from the shell, which is another bonus, although sometimes, I feel a sharp edge. The scroll wheel is quiet on the wireless, but a bit louder on the wired version. Mouse 3 can be clicked in fairly quickly, but seems better suited to being held in or clicked once. I've had no accidental activations during play. Scrolling is quite smooth for browsing, and also offers some tension on the steps. being a bit less than the G403. The side buttons are fairly large, comfortable, and with a moderate travel distance. For me, these are close to perfect, but people with bigger thumbs might wish they were a little smaller. And the DPI button is in a bit of a groove, so no accidental clicks on that. In the latency testing, neither test is accurate, but both seem to suggest that there is barely any delay for either mouse. I tested them against the Logitech Pro and each other, and even in wireless mode, they have low latency. I'm very happy with the buttons on this mouse, for all game types. Now the sensor. This should show how it performs in game, tested on hard and soft pads, at 400 and 1600 DPI. Clearly no problem with rocket jumping. Balance and sensor feel good. I can't make them spin out, not even with the tilt slam test. In the sniper test, zooming right in and moving slowly at first, it's as smooth as you'd expect at each DPI level. It's hard to get an accurate acceleration test, and most mice have some, but this seems to perform fairly well. I had no issues in game. The liftoff distance is under 1 DVD on both soft and hard pads, but you can adjust that in surface tuning in the software. I have no real way of testing delay, but the wireless feels like it performs just as well as the wired copy. It's just a bit heavier. To make that even, I actually added the weight into the wired version while I tried it, and I tested the 360 against the 3310 sensor, and they were the same. In the line test, again using a 3310 sensor for control, I saw no jitter, no angle snapping, and no skipping. The liftoff movement was well controlled, and there's no sensor or lens rattle. As expected, the 3366 optical performs extremely well in both the wired and wireless versions. For build quality, when tapping them, there's just the usual rattle, but when shaking them, my wired version appears to have a loose scroll wheel. The wireless doesn't, so I'd say that's going to depend on the copy you get. For materials, the sides are slightly textured rubber, which may scratch and break down, but hopefully they are durable enough, and it's the same on the other side. The top is smooth plastic, and I think the mouse should be good for sweaty hands as well as dry. And despite durability concerns, I think it feels great in general use and while playing. The cable is a smooth braid and appears flexible and glides over the pad. I guess the one negative here is that it is quite large and heavy, but I personally don't mind it. It also fits in the Zowie bungee. There are 2 medium mouse feet, and they also glide smoothly. In the software, it shows it has onboard memory, which can be used with 3 profiles. The DPI range is 200 up to 12,000, and the polling rate is adjustable. You can assign new commands for each button, from mouse and media functions, to keystrokes and keyboard macros. In lighting, you can turn both lights off, set a single color, or have a cycle effect or breathing, with the usual brightness and rate. Having the lights on will of course use the battery faster, so generally we turn these off on wireless mice. On a full charge, it seems like it would last over 30 hours. And then there is surface tuning for your mouse pads, and some stats, and then in options, angle snapping, and firmware update. So they're the important points. Now for my overall opinion on it. Despite being a simple shape, it actually took me a while to adjust. It's also wider than mice I generally like, but for a large mouse, it felt good. In fact, better than good. Probably my favorite large mouse so far. And because of the buttons, the sensor, materials, and extras like the software, I think this is going to suit a lot of people. You can see by these highlights that I was throwing it around, wired and wireless, and hitting some decent shots. Its performance was great. I actually really like this mouse already. I just wish it was smaller. And that's the key point here. This is a top mouse. It should be good in FPS, MOBA, and RTS. But if you're playing FPS, you really need to look at size. Personally, although I prefer the shape and feel of this mouse, I play better with the Logitech G Pro. I think this is going to be best suited to FPS players with hands over 19cm or 7.5 inches. If your hand is under, you can still use it of course, but you can probably aim better with a smaller mouse. For other game types, it shouldn't be a concern. For wireless versus wired, well, it's really down to weight versus freedom. I play better with the wired version, but it was close. So if I were playing competitively, I'd choose the wired. If I was just playing semi-seriously, I'd choose the wireless. Either way, really good mouse, definitely check it out. And a big thank you to the Logitech team for providing me with both samples. Really appreciate it. Check the description for more information, including ways you can help support the channel. And as always, subscribe, share, like this video, and I'll catch you in the next.